Volume 1. Independent Showcase Season 3, Episode 3, and we've entitled this season Trailblazers. Why? Because we're talking to some of the hottest young talent in the UK. You may have seen the other first two that we've done so far. The third one right now. Someone who's making their Ignite Wrestling debut at Curtain Call 4 has got an unenvious task, but you do have permission to kick the living shit out of your opponent that weekend. The opponent is Truman Wazrael, but we're talking to Isaac Blair. Isaac, welcome to the show.
Hello there, mate. Thank you very much for having me on.
You are very welcome indeed. Big show coming up for you at Ignite this in a couple of weeks' time at Curtain Call 4. How much are you looking forward to stepping in the Ignite ring for the very first time?
Wow, yeah, it's something I'm really looking forward to. It's a place I've definitely wanted to wrestle. I've seen a couple matches from there. I've watched a few things and been like, I want to step up my game and bring it up to the next level and show what I could do to everyone at Ignite and the fans at Ignite. And I want to step inside. Oh my goodness, step inside the ring with a few of the wrestlers down there.
Well, you get your opportunity to. Someone who actually your opponent is someone who I never thought would see it ignite again. I wish we wasn't, to be quite honest, but you are coming, so it makes it makes it a little bit better. Truman Roswell. So story for you, if you don't follow where they are, is Truman had a bit of an issue with the Ignite GM Chris CJ Carter. So much so that we brought back Corey McRae, who, well, we thought had got rid of Truman for good, but unfortunately not. So we're expecting more conspiracies and stuff. But look, you mentioned Ignite. Well, I mentioned Ignite, and you mentioned wanting to wrestle there, and it's also the home of our championship. So perhaps when you're there, you may have one eye on that Turnbuckle Championship as well. Is the Turnbuckle Championship something in the future that perhaps you have your eye on?
100%, 100%. Um, I am definitely keen on holding that title around my waist at some point. That's for sure.
Well, we'll have to see. That obviously obviously not this coming Sunday, but in a couple of Sundays' time, our championship will be on the line in a triple threat: Harrison Bennett versus Chris Aries versus the champion Aluna. Will she hold on to it? Only time will tell. But Isaac, that's them. Let's talk about you. How have you found? Look, we're coming to the back end of 2025 for you this year. How has the year been for you in wrestling?
It's been wild, absolutely wild. I mean, this year my career has completely taken off. It was only I've only been wrestling about a year and a half-ish, maybe even less. Um, and since joining WrestleForce with Ollie, um, I've been able to get around, see new promotions and that wrestle opponents that I never thought I'd be wrestling, especially not in my first year of my career. That's for sure. I mean, I've had two matches against Connor Mills, someone I
Yeah.
stated on a different podcast that I'd done would be like a dream opponent for me. Um, and I've had matches that I'm really proud of. I've had all different sorts of stipulations, and yeah, it's been a roller coaster, that's for sure.
You mentioned the aforementioned Connor Mills. We had Archie paying the juice on last time, and he mentioned that's a match that he was looking out for. So someone, for example, wants to you tell them about how you wrestle and your style. How would you explain that to a promoter?
Um, I'm a big fan of like Japanese wrestling, the Puroso style, the hard hitting, the strong style of that type of wrestling mixed in with the whole kind of high flying aspect. The junior heavyweight division kind of thing in New Japan. I love that style. I'm a big fan of like Takahashi, obviously Osprey, people like that. They inspire me a lot, and there's something fresh about their approach to wrestling, fresh about their style, which keeps me entertained as a lifelong fan. It keeps me seeing new things. It's always full of surprises, and I absolutely love that style of wrestling. So I try to incorporate that um, into my personal style in the ring. Um, I've trained Muay Thai, a few different martial arts, and because I actually couldn't train wrestling at the time, so I joined an MMA gym, did some
Yeah.
Muay Thai things like that. I always loved people like Kenta, Shibata, um, that were known for their hard hitting aspects, their kicks, their strikes, and I thought, well, if that's something I want to follow up, if I ever get to wrestle out in Japan, I want to be well accustomed to that style before I end up um, taking on that challenge. So I would say a mixture of strong style, lots of kicks, lots of strikes, and a mixture of high flying. However, I try and use the high flying in moderation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
probably the best way. The half.
indeed, indeed, it's I love high flying wrestling. And that I think we have so many high flyers nowadays, though. It's good to keep it different, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does, and you're right. It's an interesting one because I look at Colin Mills, and he's someone that brings a technical style, but then he brings it into strong style at the same time. So you'll have that technical beginning with him, lots of submission holds, lots of maybe targeting areas of the body, and then he'll go full on strong style, and it'll be the chops will be ranging out, and there'll be lots of other moves. But with that, and you mentioned that variety, and I find that a key point now because we do see a lot of the same in some aspects of wrestling here. So is it important that you do keep changing it up like you see in Japan, just to keep it? Because sometimes people are looking for that something a little bit different in a wrestler.
Exactly, exactly. I think it's key to standing out is to have something different. If you're just following the crowd, becoming a sheep, it's just you're going to blend in. To stand out, as you've just rightly said, you need something different. You need to be able to bring something fresh to the table that obviously perks everyone's interest and makes them want to see you, makes them want to see more, makes them want to see what else you might come out with. It's yeah, I think it's very important to be able to change things up and bring something new to the ring.
Exactly. No, I agree. I love that match you had at WrestleForce. I was there. It was. I
Thank
think I sat there and I said. I was messaging obviously CJ Carr, the Ignite GM, and I was like, and this wasn't a hit at WrestleForce, but I was like, this match could have easily wouldn't have been out of place at your, quote unquote bigger promote, your
you. Yeah,
progresses, your Rev Pros, your Riot Cabarets. It literally could have been, or North Wrestling Pro, say it could
thank
have been gracing that stage. That's, and for
you.
people like yourself and AJ and a couple of others that I saw, only been wrestling so long to be like that good was it seemed to surprise me because obviously Tommy Tanner's another one that has come off and just he was trained by Greg Burridge and whatnot, and you see him and you're like you've been training a year and you can it's quite scary. But do you find now though that that's kind of I say scary, but is that kind of the norm now that you guys are coming through your training, you're putting your effort in, and you're reaping the rewards so quickly that like all of a sudden this time next year we could be having a conversation, you could be you say on your way to Japan.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. I mean, I've definitely noticed it more. I mean, from when I started, it was like I started finding success, and it was like, oh wow, this is happening. In a way, it was all kind of surreal. It still kind of is to me. I still haven't registered that I wrestle. I still don't register it. I'm like, oh yes, I'm wrestling tomorrow. But yeah, it's I've noticed more people like Archie, Regan, the younger guys coming up, and on such a good level, especially for how long they've been doing it for. It's definitely something that's increasing. However, I do think it's important and you can achieve better if you come from a background of doing some other type of sport or martial art. Or I did gymnastics and, as I said, martial arts before I started wrestling. So I already had a kind of athletic background. So I found things easier. I could understand things a bit better than, let's say, someone that hasn't done anything like that before. I mean, I did like amateur wrestling for a little bit, so I understood holds, things like that, and then obviously your other side of it in gymnastics and that for the style that I do. So I think from the people I know, and I would definitely recommend this to anyone that's trying to get into wrestling or become a wrestler, learn another kind of discipline as well. It will help you majorly in speeding up that process of getting on the scene.
Yeah, definitely. Look at you're right. Look at him nowadays. He's always got something. I mean, Tanner was gymnastics as well. I think that
Yeah,
was one of the things that he done. And nowadays also, and what's so good. I mean, local to me here in Essex, we've got the Cobra Wrestling Academy by
yeah.
Sky Smithson.
I like to go down there quite often.
Yeah, we're hoping to go down there and do a little bit for the show actually before the end of the year with any luck. I'm trying to hit a Thursday session there.
Okay.
I've tried to listen. I've done that wrestling when I was a kid, well, when I was 18, 19, and I didn't have another background of sport other than football. And I learned very quickly and very painfully that I just didn't have what it took in to do what you guys do. And there's a respect issue there for anybody that steps foot in that ring because I know that it hurts because, again, I've done it as well. And I've been around people that's done it. So, but now going back to the wrestling school situation, though, how important is it that when you're there, you are coachable to the trainer as well? I was talking to Seth Rollins' school, Merrick
Oh,
Brave, who does the Black and Brave school, and Callum Beck went out there recently, and he was saying that the one thing they look for, yes, you got to have a little bit of the talent, and you got to be athletic and everything, but it's to be the coachability of the trainee. Is it really important that A, you are a sponge when you're there, but B, you are open to being coachable to the trainer?
yeah, yeah. Coachability is definitely important. Um, in order to learn, you've got to be able to listen, I suppose, and it definitely helps being able to come in there without an ego. Um, I mean, again, that kind of I had that kind of thing happen to me when I started doing Muay Thai and kickboxing. Going in there and realizing I am like the worst in there and getting my ass beaten essentially week after week until I got better, and it broke my ego down, and I could go into it wanting to learn more, and listening to people that I can see and respect as better than myself.
Mm.
Um, and I'd like to say I'm well mannered enough to, when I started training wrestling, to be able to sit there and listen to the coach and be like absorbing the information they tell me. And I think it's really important to be able to listen to everybody's opinion, whether you agree with it or not. People are going to say things you like or that you don't like, and it's still important to take that into account. You don't have to agree with everything that somebody says. However, there are definitely going to be key points that are useful to take into consideration. So I think you've definitely got to be coachable. You've definitely got to be able to put your ego aside and want to learn to be able to progress. I think that is very important. Yeah.
It is, and yeah, and just being able to have constructive criticism as well, right? Because you're
Yeah.
never going to go in there and be perfect. But the other side of aspect is the family side, and how supportive have the family been? Because sometimes you say, "I want to be a wrestler." It's not one of those conversations that generally happen in a household. How was that for you when you
Yeah.
thought to be a wrestler?
That's a good point. My mum has been extremely supportive the entire journey. I mean, since a little child, since like the age of 4 or 5, I was always playing my figures, going out in the garden. At the time, I only had a little trampoline, the little like
Yeah,
really small one. And
yeah, I know the ones you mean. Yeah,
I'd be dressing up as Sabu or Jeff Hardy, and I'd be jumping off the little trampoline onto an inflatable boxing bag, doing like leg drops or swanton bombs onto like these little inter inter interlinked foam mats. And then as I got a bit older, got a bigger trampoline, all out there all the time, every day after school, wrestling on the trampoline with a morph suit filled with polystyrene balls, trying everything, trying to come up with new things constantly, and then just watching wrestling. And always from that age, I always said, I'm going to be a wrestler, I'm going to be a wrestler. There's even times like, for example, in my primary school, we had a come as your hero day, or it was like
yeah.
as an inspiration or something like that. And everyone in as like firefighters, doctors, policemen, things like that. And I went in dressed as Jeff Hardy, and I had a vest on, the arm sleeves, the dyed hair, because I had long hair at the time. I had the
Yeah.
dyed hair and the face paint on, and everyone was like looking at me like I was insane. And I've always said it, and my mum's been supportive the entire journey. Um, it wasn't until I met Speedball Mike Bailey at a Rev Pro show when I was about 15 or 14 maybe, that I realized how I could get into wrestling. I had no idea how to get myself out there, how to get myself on the scene, other than posting these backyard wrestling videos in my front garden, because my back garden was concrete. So I'd be doing it in the front garden on the grass with my mates for all the neighbours to see. And I went to a Rev Pro show. It was the anniversary with Osprey and Ricky Knight Jr. And Speedball was there, and I got talking to him. I was like, "Well, how do you do it? How do you become a wrestler?" And he was like, "Mate, just join a school, and then it will happen from there." And then he asked me a bit like if I'd done gymnastics or anything in the past. And we had a really good chat about it and that. And so I did that. I looked up, me and my mum together looked up all the schools around, whatever. And then at the time, the closest to me was Dropkicks in Thurrock, like Purfleet area. So she contacted Lucas, and was like, he loves wrestling, he's adored it all the time. That he'd love to come down and try it, and they let me come a bit early, and I'm ever grateful for them, and ever grateful for them giving me the opportunity to start wrestling early and get down there and start training and that. And yeah, so she supported me on that way. I did a couple shows for them, debuted for them, and that everyone was so lovely, so supportive, so encouraging, trying to bring out the best in me. And then eventually reached out to Ollie. He brought me on to Wrestle Force, and I got to progress even further from there. And the entire time, yeah, my mum's been extremely supportive. Couldn't fault her at all. Constantly helping me out, constantly customizing a bit of my gear if something goes a bit wrong. Uh, Always helpful. Always making sure I've got my got everything together at the end of shows, making sure I don't leave anything behind because I'm quite forgetful. But yeah, can't complain at all. Can't fault the family on that side of it at all. No.
Excellent. Well, that's always good that you get that, the push as well sometimes, right? Because you see, you do these things or you say these things to your family, and sometimes it's sniggered at, sometimes it's frowned upon, but the support is there, which is a big help, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, coming into it. Before we start carrying on, we're going to start off, going to do some random stuff to you now. So some random wrestling questions. I throw these out there. I've done it to the other two gentlemen I've had on prior to your good self. The first question is if your top three favorite wrestling theme songs are what?
Oh, that took a change in course. I like this question. Hmm. I like Burning My Light.
Saban, Ted Saban said that. I'm sure it's either him or Archie. One of them two said that. That's
Yeah.
the first time I've heard it, but go on.
Um. There's so many good ones.
I know.
Um. I might have to do an honourable mention before my number one, but no. Number two would probably be. Oh, this is such a tough question.
Uh,
Maybe I do like Edge's theme song. I do like the DX theme. But
yeah,
probably No More Words, Jeff Hardy.
everyone said that.
Yeah. Um, my honourable mentions would probably be any Jeff Hardy theme song in TNA, like Obsolete or
Yeah. He done
another me.
another me, didn't he? Is that
Another
what?
me, yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah, and then Demons, I think, or Time and Space. There's all these ones. I used to play them on the iPad while bringing out the figures when I was younger, um, doing TNA matches. And then number one, phew, probably I like Darby Allin's theme, but I don't think it's number one.
I
There is
fell.
one I'm thinking of, but I can't quite put my finger on the name. I think it's a CM Punk theme song.
This fire burns.
Yes, This Fire Burns, yeah.
Do you know what? I hadn't heard though. Jeff Hardy's one I'd heard a lot. The other two I'd not. We've asked loads of the wrestlers these questions. That one always stumps them. To be fair, I think there's only one wrestler. I can't remember who it was. He just reeled it off straight away. He had it like it was
Yeah.
already embedded in it. But on this particular series of independent showcase, Ted and Archie, I think they said the same songs as you, and it kind of falls in line with the age, right? Because
Yeah.
you're all quite close in the age department. I'm way too old, but I've got a lot. My theme's always different. I always got Edge. I'm a big. You can't really see it, but that's the Brood tattoo on my arm.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And I got the rated R star on my back. So there's two
Really nice.
guesses as who's to who that. And then I've got some dice this side that's got the numbers 316 for Steve Austin in there. But yeah, my theme songs I always think they always differ depending on the mood or what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Motorhead the Game would be one, mainly because
Yes.
I was at WrestleMania 21 when they played him out. Motorhead played him out there live, and I was singing it. I'm like, well, they're not fucking singing it in the right order. They were singing it in a totally different order of the song. But yeah, so yeah, that Edge is the one that I always like. But right now, and I don't like to admit it because I know he watches, and this is probably going to be showing my really sad side. But on the car drive this morning, I had the theme song of Harry McDonald playing on my Big Mac, and I sent him a picture of it this morning. And yeah, I don't know why. It's something that song was just cool, but
I I relate to that. I wrestled Harry. Him and Ryan were my debut, and I had his theme song in my playlist
yeah,
for a while.
I'm not going to massage his ego any further than that. But anyway, next question on this, and this is another one that stumps a lot, so I don't worry about it. But it's called Table for Four, and it's you, Isaac, and three other wrestlers or wrestling personalities or people within wrestling that you would like to have dinner with. So basically, just shoot the shit with for an evening. Who would they
Yeah.
be?
Uh, Number one, definitely Jeff Hardy. All-time
Yeah,
favorite. I have to put in there, Jeff Hardy. Will Ospreay,
yeah.
and oh, this is hard because I just want to pick my favourites. I was going to say Shawn Michaels.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think it'd have to be Jeff Hardy, Ospreay, and Shawn Michaels.
I would, yeah, they're great names, and hopefully Will's healing up as well. By the way, you know he's had his surgery, which is very very serious one, obviously for him. I know he's had that injury a while, I think, so it's good that he's getting it checked out. But my one is generally Paul Heyman.
Oh yeah,
They're a bit controversial, like Eric Bischoff. I've had Eric Bischoff on the show 3 times, and I've loved having him on the show, but I'd love to sit with him. And probably the most controversial one would be Jim Cornette.
I was going to say Jim Cornette. That was another the name in my mind.
But
Yeah,
yeah, those are the PMs and free night. Like I say, I've been fortunate enough to have chats like this with Eric for a while, and I
yeah,
met Eric at an Inside the Ropes. There's a company called Inside the Ropes. I don't know if you know, but they
yeah.
do tours. Eric Bischoff is one of those that I went to see, and that was when I got surprised by him telling me he was coming on. Because my one of my co-hosts does the Inside the Ropes shows. She told him that I was coming, and we do a podcast, and basically he said I'm coming on. And then she said, well, you can tell him when you meet him. So I met him, and that's what he said. He was coming on.
Awesome.
Anyway, it was cool. If you could debut at one pay-per-view, what one would it be?
Oh, oh, this is a good question. Um, I I love AEW.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not the biggest WWE fan, so
Yeah.
this should either be a New Japan Wrestle Kingdom
Hmm.
or maybe an AEW Revolution.
Okay, Revolution. Yeah, interesting. I got to ask Tony Khan a question at Forbidden Door. That was cool. We were part
Yeah,
of the media, and we got sent backstage to do the post-show press conference. So that was really good. What I will say about Tony Khan, I've said it before, even when you're in a room full of people, you ask that man a question and he focuses on you and
yeah.
nobody else. And it makes you feel kind of special. That was a really cool thing from AEW. I had another question and it has now eluded me. Oh, no, it hasn't. No. Okay. So I'm going to do this. This is a two-parter, but it's the same question, just in different ways. Your dream triple threat match in wrestling, full stop, and your dream triple threat match in Brit Rest. So you and two others in the world and in Brit Rest. Who they're going to be?
Oh, that's cool. So my dream triple threat full stop would have to be um, maybe me, Osprey, um, Bandido,
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
and Takeshita.
Okay. So, oh, that's interesting. That would be that could happen. I mean, that's not beyond the realms of impossibility,
Yeah,
right? That is,
yeah,
and with the way that the AEW's over here doing quite a bit. There's lots of international stars have gone, and the UK, and maybe some more on the horizon. Who knows? But what also isn't beyond the realms of impossibility yet is potentially a showdown with Jeff Hardy.
very true, very true. I mean, I think I just listed a fatal four way by accident, but
You did. We'll give you that.
yeah,
Don't worry. But that was
okay,
your world one. What about your
yeah.
Brit Rest?
Um, in Brook Rest, it would probably be. I really want to work. These are two names I really want to work in general, which is Nico Angelo and Jay Joshua.
Okay.
Um, I'm a big fan of like Leon Cage's stuff, and as obviously said, Jay Joshua,
Yeah.
Nico Angelo. Um,
The Welsh contingent, that is, isn't it?
yeah, I do like Luke Jacobs as well.
Yeah.
Probably, if I was to have a dream triple threat, it might be me. Hmm. I want to say Mills, but obviously I have worked him twice already, so I want to give it to somebody else this time. So me, maybe oh, shoot a couple names out there for me, and I'll see if I'm forgetting anyone.
Oku. Um, cool. I'm trying to think now himself. That's a. I'm trying to think of names that I think would. Lycos would be good
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you. The Lycos twins, either one of them. You've mentioned Jay Joshua, who I would have wanted you to do. I tell you what, or name it. Maybe not many people have heard of that. I think would really work really well, and you'll see him in a couple of weeks, and that is Chris Aries is a
All right.
really another really good wrestler that the Bryants would do. I know you may have already done that at WrestleForce. The Bryant James Ellis would be another one. He's a very good wrestler. Tate Mayfair's, I'd like maybe. Trying to list as many as I can, but yeah, Mayfair's would be one.
Yeah, I think I'd probably go. It'd probably be me, Jay Joshua, and maybe um, Leon Cage,
Leon.
or if not Leon Cage, then maybe, as I said, like Mills.
Well, that's right. I'm just writing some of these names down because if you win the turn with the champion, my championship at any point, I always try my best to get the champion who they want, right? So yeah.
Oh wow.
Now, the other important thing about my the champions, I don't like to talk about us because this is your podcast, but the other thing about it is a learning thing, right? So we want when we bring in when the champion gets crowned, we want to make sure they have matches where they learn from. So, for an example, our first champion was Smashing Mike, and
Oh cool, yeah.
yeah, he was our first, and we brought him Eddie Dennis. So that
Oh
was a really big learning curve ex WWE. That was, that's what it's all about. But
really?
anyway, enough of that. You'll get that chance if you ever go for our championship, which we'll see. We'll see what happens after your first show at Ignite. But look, let's carry on with your good self. Um, 2026 is fastly approaching. I know you mentioned obviously you're crossing that bucket list off with Ignite in a couple of weeks. What is on your agenda for 2026?
Um, I want to make it to like Rev Pro for sure.
Mhm.
Um, I want to get to like Rev Pro Progress. The obviously two biggest is where I want to be, where I want to be able to showcase what I can do. I want to be able to push myself harder. I want to be able to um, give myself challenges, really try and face more people and push myself to my limits and see what I'm capable of. Um, I'd like to wrestle for Riot Carver. I think I really like the presentation, everything. I think it's really cool. Um, I'm trying to think. I want to mix up my moveset a bit, add some more stuff, come up with some more innovative stuff. Um, put on a bit more size. That'd be another thing. Um, and I think, yeah, just get on some more shows and wrestle some more opponents and people that can challenge me and push me harder. I
And
think
then
that's my biggest agenda for 2026.
and the learning experience that comes with it as
Exactly, and being able to
well.
learn from like these people and take things. I mean, I learned from my matches with Mills, especially. I learned from. I mean, everyone I've wrestled, I've taken something from or learned from. I mean, when I first wrestled Trim and Lacey, I learned from them.
Yeah.
That was a big turning point in a way of allowing me to understand how I needed to up the intensity in how I wrestled, things like that. Um, the same as even working Ollie when I first started WrestleForce, and yeah, I think more challenges and be able to learn more and just become better all around.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. So we at Ignite last time, Tommy Tanner had Spike Trevay.
Yeah,
And from the moment that Tanner got there to the moment that he left, he was just talking with Spike. You wouldn't like he would just wouldn't leave him. It was great because it was really good to see because obviously Spike Trey well renowned in the scene to doing that. So that's really important that you when you got those people there that you take advantage of
yeah.
every second that you get with them. And he
I watched
certainly.
that match. I watched that match as well a couple of days ago. Funnily
Oh,
enough,
did you?
really cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was our final. Well, not our, well, the final for now. Buckle up. Who knows if we'll ever bring that back. It was a good free shows that we done with Ignite for that. But look, man, we're going to start wrapping up right here, right now. So, what have you got coming up first that you can announce, other than Ignite, of course?
Obviously, yeah. We've got the Ignite match coming up with Truman Roswell. Truman Roswell, who I've actually seen wrestle before. I did a bit for PWE in Cambridge, and that was going on. I saw Truman wrestle down there a couple of times. I'm very much looking forward to that. I've got this weekend, this Sunday. I don't know when this will be coming out, but I do have
At the time of recording this
at the
Sunday.
time of recording this Sunday. So Sunday the What are we on today? The fifth.
Sixth.
Or is it the fifth?
It's the sixth today.
Sixth today. So I think
Ninth.
Sunday the ninth. Yeah, Sunday the ninth. I'm wrestling Raymond O'Reilly for the fifth time, or fifth match.
Mhm.
And then I've got the week after, I believe it's me and Raymond versus Lincoln Spectre and Denzel, black and
Denzel
gold.
Mack. Brilliant.
And then I think coming up after that, I know at some point in Rayleigh, December 27th, me versus Ollie Peace for I think our seventh match or
Is that
something
the
like
rap master or is that Ollie?
Ollie
Who?
Peace. It's our payoff match. He wrestled me in my hometown. That's my first main event match. I wrestled Ollie in my hometown in Witham. Well, I mean, I'm not from Witham. I went to school in Witham. I live around that area. But I went to school in Witham, and my school is literally 2 minutes away from the venue. So it was really
Wicked.
cool having all friends, family, everyone down there to watch me. And that was my first main event. And I really find it good when I've got people coming down to support me, like friends or people that don't
Mhm.
usually come to my matches.
Yeah.
Like I brought my girlfriend and that, and I always find myself pushing myself even harder to try and make sure I can give everyone the best possible match I can. That's my biggest goal. I want to be able to entertain people. I want to be able to give them the best possible matches. I want to be able to bring the best that I've got
Mhm.
and impress everyone. That's my biggest thing with wrestling. I know how it makes me feel watching like an Osprey match, for example, or Hiromu Takahashi match, something like that, where it's absolutely wild and I'm just out of my seat the entire time. I saw a match at Pro Wrestling Ceasefire, which was Mills and Nico versus CPF, and that was just
Yeah.
mind blowing to me. It was shocking. It's just like it stood out to me, and I want to be able to do that on coming shows. I want to be able to make people feel that feeling of being so involved in the match, so focused on what's going on, so kind of taken into the reality of wrestling, taken
Yeah.
or what's the phrase?
Invested.
What's that? Invested, yeah,
Invested.
yeah, invested. That's what I want to be able to do. I want to be able to give that to fans and give that to people watching and give that to people that love wrestling. That's my biggest thing. So yeah, that's they're the things that are coming up, and that's what I want to be able to do on these coming shows.
Excellent. So for promoters out there that want to book you, where can they go and where are you available on social media?
So you can find me on Instagram at Isaac Blair and on YouTube on multiple different things. I've wrestled a few different people. Bookings, you can DM me or email me under isaacblairbookings@gmail.com. That's pretty much it for how to find me. I suppose I'm quite easy to come across. I mean, recently I found out that I can find myself on AI interview on Google, which was quite interesting. I was sitting there during one of my college lessons just learning about myself. So that was an experience.
Oh boy, that's
I was
that must be
asking it.
fun.
I was asking who some of my opponents should be, who are some dream matches for myself, and it was giving me a few different names.
Really, what did it come up at? What did it
Oh,
come
it
up?
said Luke Jacobs.
Uh-huh.
It said Will Ospreay. I think it said it was like Darby Allen or someone.
Okay.
Uh, and then there was a really peculiar name. I don't remember what it was. No, it wasn't. It was Ishii, and I love Ishii. So yeah, that was the other one. It was Ishii. There was someone else. I don't remember who it was though. I think it was someone from like Scotland or something.
Interesting. Oh, if it was Scottish, we would have. My co-host Fiona might have known who that is. But Isaac, we're going to leave it there. Obviously, I'll see you at Ignite
Awesome.
in a few weeks, of course. And I obviously wish you luck before that, and I wish you luck now for the remainder of the year and into 2026 for sure. But promoters, if you do want to get Isaac on the show, we are going to put his booking email at the below on the YouTube, so make sure, and on the Spotify link, so make sure you check that out. But coming up on this show. Well, literally after I get back off holiday, maybe I don't know if he's going to have an interview before that, but definitely one of the first interviews of the recently released Ridge Holland from the WWE will be coming on here. No holds barred is the word that he said. So it'll be an interesting show, that's for
Very
sure.
good.
Yes, looking very forward. And any wrestler out there looking for a new theme song for 2026, let me know, because I have two artists by the name of David Bartolome and Will Scar who do cover songs of wrestling. They do wrestling themed songs. That actually theme song of Tyson Keaton, the Big Boss, the new his new theme song was done by them. You can check them out on Spotify. Type in "If We Wrote the Theme." You will hear their songs. They do some great cover songs, but they're also very happy and very quick at turning around themes for wrestlers. So if you are interested in the theme, either let me know or go follow them and let them know. But make sure you'd say we told you to go there, because I said say that I'll do that. They may even be at Ignite show in the future, possibly in February. I don't know. But anyway, enough of that. Follow us at HCT Buckle on X, HCT Buckle on YouTube, Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast on other social media platforms. Isaac, thank you. I'll see you in a couple of weeks, and we'll see you next time on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. But until then, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye.